Okay, so let's get this project ready for the grade. Now, we're going to have a little recap of the Baked Master workflow, and we will take a look at how to get past a crossfade as well. This project is fairly simple, save for this graphic shot in here, which does fade in. And it is baked in. We cannot change this fade, so we're going to have to work around this one. That takes a little bit of doing, and you have to think ahead about it, but we will go through how to fix this. So I've already made my scene cut bin down here, scene cut material. I'm going to right click on PC01 Baked Master for Udemy.mov and choose Scene Cut Detection. Once again, just to make absolutely sure we get it, what we are looking for is that the center and the rightmost viewer are clearly from the same shot, and that the leftmost viewer is clearly from a different shot. That means that this edit is correct. So I'm going to drag my confidence threshold line down a little, and then I'll hit Auto Scene Detect and wait for Resolve to do its thing. It won't take very long at all. Here we go, and now my edit index is populated with entries. I can go through and I can check my edit. Now there are a few grey lines here which I need to check because they could be missed edits. And sure enough, this is just an edit from between two very similar looking shots in terms of colours and tone. So I need to get to the right place with the playhead and hit Add to fix that. Then click back in the edit index and go through and keep checking. There's another one here. That's another missed edit. Go through and hit Add and then keep checking. And this project, with the exception of the graphics, is quite a simple conform. There's another one, sure enough. There we are. Here is the crossfade. So I want to zoom in here and get a better view. This little bar down here allows me to zoom in to my scene cut. And what I want to do is get rid of all of these false positives. What is happening here is that Resolve doesn't know what a crossfade is in this context, even though it can apply crossfades later on. So what it's doing is it's just seeing a part of our film where every frame looks very different from the previous one in terms of the values of each pixel. So it believes that every single frame is an edit, and that is why crossfades can trip up a Baked Master conform. I need to just delete all of these false positives, keep hitting delete until they are gone, and I want to place an edit in a very particular place. Now, this takes a bit of forward thinking because the trim tools don't quite work the way we might expect when dealing with material taken from a scene cut operation like this. So I want to go through, and I do want to place an edit here, but it's not going to be at the start of the crossfade. It's going to be at the end. It's going to be once the image has completely finished fading in, and I will add an edit here. This is very important. We do not go back and add an edit at the start. Then I want to go through to the next set of edits, and I want to find where the fade to the next shot of the next contributor just starts, and I believe it's here. And I want to add an edit there. So these interview shots do have the crossfade of the graphics coming in, but that is what we need, as we will see later. So make sure you set it up this way. Do not cut at the end of the fade. You want this fade bit to be on the footage of the interviewees, of the contributors. I'm going to drag my zoom bar back to the left and then just keep on going with the rest of the proof check, and it's pretty stable throughout the rest of this edit. I always enjoy trying to think of which celebrities do these interviewers resemble. He reminds me a little bit of the actor who played Francis in Malcolm in the Middle from certain angles. And then I just need to keep checking these. Cool. So I've now got a clean proof-checked edit, and I've got a little bit of weird overlap in these crossfades, but we will see soon enough how we put that to use. So I'm going to hit Add Cuts to Media Pool, and I'm going to close my Scene Cut detector. Now we want to make a new timeline using all of these new scene cuts. Again, what we do is we right-click the bin containing the cut media and choose Create New Timeline using selected bin. I'm going to call this timeline PC01 Work Timeline. And by some eldritch miracle, it has been spelled correctly. And then hit Create. I'm then going to drag my timeline up into my master bin. For now, I usually like to make a separate bin for timelines, but in very simple, baked master conforms like this, it's not strictly necessary to do that. Then we need to go to the Edit panel. And in the Edit panel, I need to scroll along until I find my graphics shot here. And here is what we need to do. I need to make copies of these shots that fade out as the graphics fade in. And it will get a little bit confusing in the grade. So, what I want to do is I want to add a video track, and then I want to copy, just click this down here, Control C, and then if you have the little white chain up here selected, you'll get both. If you don't, you can just choose the video. This is a silent track anyway, so it doesn't really matter what happens down here with the audio. I'm going to copy this, and what I need to do is I need to hit this odd little indicator, this little rectangle with the two arrows in it, in track 1, and make sure that it is deselected. I then need to drag the playhead back to the start of the clip, and then Control V to paste a copy of itself on top. Now this seems a little convoluted, but bear with me. I then need to find where the crossfade begins, and I believe it's about here, and I will just left click and trim this side back in. Now what I want is for this clip to fade in and become visible as the graphics come in. And there's a dead easy way to do that. As I'm mousing over this clip, if I just zoom in a little bit, you can see these little white markers, these little white kind of earmarks up here. These are the fade sliders, and they will let me make a clip fade in dead easily. The one on the left is fade in, the one on the right is fade out. So if I solo this track and drag this to the left, what you will see is it fades in over the course of this ramp. So what I want to do is make it fade in all the way from the left. And what I get, if I solo it, is it fading in as the graphics come in. What we're going to do is we're going to leave this clip ungraded. And what will happen is that we can grade this clip now in the color panel. But the clip on top of it will fade in and remove the grade for us. Now I might want to tweak the timing and say maybe, actually I want it to fade in about there. Of course you're not going to dye this clip bright pink, so it doesn't really compare, but we can tweak the timing of this until we're happy. And then, let's say for argument's sake, I just want to do a basic primary here. And what the hey, let's just push up that blue suit very quickly whilst we're here. We will do this properly in the next lecture. I just want to show you how the grade fades out. So I've got a nice bit of that blue suit, and now what happens is that grade fades out very nice and naturally as the graphics come in. And we just need to do the same thing for the other side. So I'm going to go over to the other side. I need to copy that, get the playhead in place, make sure I have this odd little symbol here deactivated for video track 1, paste it in, and this time I want to fade out in fact, I want to find where the crossfade ends, of course, don't I? It's me jumping ahead. I will trim that in, and now it will fade out, and if I do a basic grade on this shot, what will happen now is that the grade is not going to interfere with the graphic, because if I start to grade the graphic, you know, it's going to look very odd indeed. We don't grade graphics and animation this way. So now we have the grade no longer interfering with the graphics. And that is how we work around a crossfade in the Baked Master workflow. So this shows you how to deal with that problem. The rest of this module is going to be focused entirely on actually grading the project. So go ahead and click on through to the next lecture once you're ready.